Yo, what's up, fam? This your boy Zee. We're here back with another video. And I want to say shouts out to the Milwaukee Bucks. It's been a crazy 2 weeks because this is a team that has not won in 50 years. And to see Giannis score 50 points, I mean, that's just honorable right there. I'm serious, man. This team pretty much overcame all odds. And it's interesting because Giannis is a type of player that he represents the old school generation players. The Magic Johnsons, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Michael Jordans, the Tim Duncans, Dirk Nowinskis, right? The Kobe Bryants. He represents those type of players because those players win championships putting their teams. This man right here is against super teams. He said it even on his press conference in the finals after he won it. He said, I don't like super teams at all. I could easily go somewhere and win a championship. Okay? And this man here got LeBron James literally, man, like shaking in his boots. I'm serious. Like, these Laker fans are going crazy. Again, I'm not a Laker hater. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, what's been going on with them. But let me just take time to acknowledge the Bucks. Because I'll admit, man, like, nobody had the Bucks at all. Nobody saw this coming. All the hype was on the Los Angeles Lakers because they were defending champions and also the Brooklyn Nets. Because not only did the Nets have KD fully healthy starting off, and even Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving was healthy, man. He was not injured like this starting off with the regular season. I mean, don't get me wrong now. This was a short turnaround season. And there's been a lot of injuries. Okay, because of the short season, people didn't have a time to have a proper off season. Just after the pandemic, after the Lakers won that pandemic championship, a lot of players didn't have a lot of time. Okay, it was a short turnaround season, so that resulted in a lot of injuries because the NBA had to make back their money. But this Bucks team, I'll be honest, man, Giannis is like the only free agent that can't get no help. This is like the only top tier superstar. Top 5 that can't get nobody to join him. I mean, nobody. Because we all know what LeBron's been doing. I've been telling you what he's been doing. But, the Clippers, right? The Clippers didn't. Kawhi Leonard basically got blessed with what he had. And unfortunately, he got injured. But he got blessed with that roster. For the Clippers able to trade for Paul George. And for them to sign Serge Ibaka, that was a blessing. Right? Ibaka was going to go with it anyway because him and Kawhi got good chemistry. And then you look at Trae Young. Trae Young was able to get Bogdanovich, who Milwaukee was supposed to be getting. They traded. They tried to trade Ilyasova and DiVincenzo for Bogdanovich, and it failed. You wonder why Ilyasova is technically going to get a ring because he did play on his team. Well, actually, no, he didn't. Yeah, he's not. I'm sorry. Ilyasova is not going to get in a ring, which is unfortunate. Because you look at veterans like Brook Lopez, that's on his team, Jeff Teague, Eric Gordon, even P.J. Tucker. P.J. Tucker and Eric Gordon came from the Rockets all that time with Harden. And now look where they are now. Drew Holiday, another veteran, been here longer than Giannis and Middleton. To see those guys get a ring is, again, that's a blessing. But yeah, this is a team who couldn't get no free agents. They was even talking about Jimmy Butler getting help. They thought everybody thinks Kawhi Leonard gonna leave the Clippers and go sign with Jimmy. Right? But even then, like, this dude can't get no help at all. Like, compared to him, LeBron, right? Kobe Bryant, all these players, he's the only one that they don't talk about getting no help. Durant, right? Curry, the Warriors was able to get max free agents. Now, I'm not gonna take nothing from the Splash Brothers and what they did the last decade, because again, the Warriors run was honorable. What Steph Curry has done for the Warriors, that he did what no other Golden State Warrior did before him. And they was able to take that team to 5 straight NBA championships. But the Warriors was able to get Zaza Pachulia, Swaggy P, Matt Barnes. They was able to get David West, KD, of course. They was able to get max free agents to join them. Giannis couldn't get none of that. And remember, this is a Bucks team that had to endure LeBron when he was a Cavalier all that time. Because when Giannis came in, LeBron James was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he was just taking them to an NBA championship. This is when him and Kyrie Irving first teamed up. Actually, yeah, when Giannis came in, Giannis was a rookie, right? So this is when LeBron was still dominating the East. This man was a rookie when LeBron was on the Miami Heat. Now, they had lost to the Spurs because Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, they were still together. And even that was a young Kawhi Leonard that beat him. But even then, man, he had to endure LeBron on Cleveland, and they could not beat Cleveland at all. This is a Bucks team, Giannis, who struggled against even the Boston Celtics before they finally beat him in 2 years ago. The Toronto Raptors, the Philadelphia 76ers, these are teams they would lose to or have problems facing. And Giannis endured all of that. But again, this man had to do with what he had. Because again, this is not a super team. This is just a veteran team. Like, Brook Lopez is not even considered a superstar like that. As good as a big man he is, he's not considered a superstar. Like Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, the media, the analysts don't consider Brook Lopez nowhere in the echelon at all. Despite that he can score almost as many points as they can. The man shoots the three like they do. He's not considered a superstar. Jeff Teague's superstar days when he was in Atlanta. After he left Atlanta, his career went on a decline. Jeff Teague is only there because Budenholzer has history with him. Budenholzer knows how to coach Jeff Teague. Yeah, Teague was an all-star when Budenholzer was a coach of the Hawks. You young folks, that was long before Trae Young got there. So this is what I said. This is what you have to work with. PJ Tucker, dude. Even though PJ Tucker's like undersized, they keep putting him at the power forward position. He still is good, man. He's like a mini Ron Artest. Look at Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's already past his prime. He's an old man. But he was able to at least get a ring. Okay? Now, Drew Holiday is like the only legit, but even with Drew Holiday, even though he's the legit guard, he's way better than Eric Bledsoe. Again, they had to trade. They had to trade Eric Bledsoe and George Hill in exchange for, I think George Hill was on this team. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I know they had Eric Bledsoe, but if it wasn't George Hill, it was somebody else they traded. Yeah, they had to trade for Drew Holiday. Yeah, they exchanged Eric Bledsoe for Drew Holiday. That was a trade. And I think George Hill was on there too, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe George Hill was a Buck last year in that pandemic. But they had to trade at least like 2 players for Drew Holiday. But it worked because Drew Holiday, you know what I'm saying? Drew Holiday was always good. He was just underrated. But I always had respect for Drew Holiday, even when he was a Sixer with Iggy. And you had Evan Turner and Spencer Hawes. That was a decent Sixer team. That Sixer team was not bad. They just didn't have the right coach that had to play some defense. But no, I remember Drew Holiday back then, even before he was on Pelican with Anthony Davis. And then for Chris Middleton has finally stepped up. I'm going to give Chris Middleton his flowers. He finally did it. And Chris Middleton was another one that had problems like locking down, shutting down. He had to pray the same problems that Paul George and DeRozan would struggle against. His mental game wasn't strong. Just like James Harden, but this dude persevered. The man dropped 40 points against Devin Booker. That's a victory right there within itself, which is one of the reasons why the Suns could not win. And for people that's been following me on social media, on my Instagram, I told you another reason why. You know what I'm saying? Like, Devin Booker got with that, got with the Kardashians' little sister, Kendall. That was a bad look anyway. But despite that, the man dropped 40 points against the Phoenix Suns. A team that actually had advantage going in. And let me say this too. Once again, I meant everything I said. The Phoenix Suns had a clear advantage in these playoffs. Clear advantage. This team was well rested. I told you that from round 1, with the Lakers giving up, LeBron not throwing a temper tantrum because he done put out the Space Jam 2, thinking he's going to go back to a back-to-back championship and try to attempt to do what Jordan did, and that's failed. That's why he's tripping. Right? He just gave up, and he walked out in Game 5. And in Game 6, Lakers gave up completely. So the Suns had rest. They played a Denver Nuggets team without Jamal Murray and Will Barton. They're starting backcourt. Injured. They took advantage of that. Nikola Jokic could not play guard. Like Monte Morris and all those guys. Those guys were, and even Austin Rivers, those guys were weak. Like Austin Rivers kind of is starting to decline too. He's another one, man. If he don't get no ring now, he'll never. He's another variant like Teague is just starting to phase out. But they went against that, so they swept them, easy rest. They went against a Clippers team that was already drained, but the Clippers got through 2 series where it ended in Game 7. They beat Doncic for the second year in a row. Then they finally beat Utah, and that was a revenge game because back when the Clippers still had Blake Griffin and they had Chris Paul, that team lost to the Gordon Hayward Utah Jazz. This was a year before Donovan Mitchell came. So remember, this team finally beat Quinn Snyder. But they were tired, man. And then there's no Kawhi Leonard. There's no Serge Ibaka. Ibaka was injured for most of the season anyway. And that's why the Suns dominated the first two games, because Giannis was just coming back from an injury. And that's another thing, too. The Bucks got past Atlanta without Giannis. They deserved it getting that championship. Even when they beat Brooklyn, I said this team is going to the finals. They beat Giannis for the first time in his career, defeated Kevin Durant, a two-time NBA champion. Okay? This man was ready. And how he came back, game one was just a warm-up for him in that finals. But game two, this dude dropped 40 himself. Okay? Giannis has had to do everything for this team. And play the center position when Brook Lopez, because they don't got no backup center. I told you that earlier in this video. Ilyasova is gone. He wasn't coming back. And then Robin Lopez is another player that had to let go too, which was valuable. You saw what Robin Lopez did for the Wizards. That man helped Russell Westbrook defensively win over 40-something games and sneak that team into the playoff tournament, win the playoff tournament, and go as an AC and still at least steal one game for Philly. They didn't get swept. Robin Lopez was very good with his brother. They had to let that go for cap space. Because they needed money, you know what I'm saying, to make for Drew Holiday trade. And they was going to get Bogdanovich. They stopped that mysteriously. Because Bogdanovich, they would have been even dangerous. You didn't want this team getting no Bogdanovich. But again, man, game two, he dropped 40 points. And again, like they basically beat the Suns 4 games in a row. And even went in their house and stole game 5. That's amazing. So again, I honor this man fully. Because he represents the last of the old school players. Because Giannis will rarely win it, and it's the team that drafted him. He don't want to go nowhere else. He going to stay loyal. The man's obviously happy in Milwaukee. And now that he won a championship, he's king of Milwaukee. Now, I'm not going to say he's king of Wisconsin because Aaron Rodgers is still there. Remember, Aaron Rodgers brought a Super Bowl to Wisconsin. And of course, there's the legendary Brett Favre. We're not going to forget about him. But as far as like now, oh yeah, Giannis is the man, officially. I could bet your bottom dollar. Giannis is going to be pretty much stay the next 10 more years. Like, I say Giannis will probably retire. Giannis is officially to the Milwaukee Bucks like Steph Curry is to the Warriors. They're not going nowhere. And let me say this before I end this video. Y'all need to stop taking these analysts serious. Stop listening to Kendrick Perkins. Stop listening to Jay Williams. Stop listening to Nick Wright, including Shannon Sharp, that are biased Laker fans. The Lakers is not going to get all these players. For one, why would Chris Paul opt out of his contract? And let me say this now, man. Magic Johnson is stupid, man. This dude talks way too much. Now, in the past, let the record show, Magic Johnson got in trouble for tampering. This dude on Saturday Night Live mentioned Paul George's name, and Paul George was still under contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all want to know why Paul George didn't go to the Lakers? Because Magic Johnson opened his mouth. And then two, Paul George's not going to play for no LeBron. Paul George still to this day wants to beat LeBron as much as Kawhi Leonard. So he was never going to the Lakers. But Magic Johnson just said something very, very stupid that could get him fined and get the Lakers and Jeannie Buss back in some more hot water. Especially LeBron James. This dude gonna run his mouth just a day ago saying that Chris Paul should opt out of his contract and go join the Lakers because LeBron is his best friend. For one, Chris Paul is part of the Players Association, so he cannot be caught in any scandal. For him to be going to Lakers this late in the career, because remember, now the first time the Lakers tried to trade for Chris Paul, he wasn't the president of the Players Association then. Back then, he wasn't. When that man was a Hornet, he was not the president then. He might have been in a position under, but he was not the president. He's the president now, so it was different. And on top of that, Chris Paul wasn't making his contract wasn't. I mean, he was a top contract earner. But again, man, they had the salary cap to do it. But now the Lakers don't have salary cap to be trading for players like that. Like, that's the thing, man. So that's the thing. So he's the players. He's the president of the Players Association. 2, this man just beat the Lakers in the playoffs in the first round. The Suns have proven to be a stronger team than this Lakers currently constructed. Why would Chris Paul leave the Suns, who just got him to the finals for the first time in his NBA career. Chris Paul been playing for over 14 seasons now. This man finally gets to the finals with Devin Booker. Why we leave Booker and go over to a Lakers team with no shooting guard? The Lakers don't have a viable shooting guard at all because Dennis Schroeder is gone. Kyle Kuzma can't play the two. They don't have a shooting guard. I repeat, the Lakers do not have a shooting guard, so why would he go over there? The man is 35 years old, man. Chris Paul ain't gonna finna go to the Lakers. He's not. Chris Paul will be stupid to go over there. I'm sorry, man. And again, Chris Paul, and then the third reason, Chris Paul still got one more year in his contract. Okay? His contract is over next season. His contract is over by 2022. By the 2022-23 season, his contract's up. His contract's up next summer. So I mean, when next June and July come around, his contract will be up. The man's not going to opt out of his contract. If anything, I say Chris Paul will probably give it one more go around. Because he's giving this Phoenix Suns team's confidence. James Johnson, who is the GM and president, he got something to build around. If the Suns can land him a good free agent, like if they could get a Luka Doncic to come join him, or if they can get like somebody that's like contract up, let's say for example, if they can get like I want to say Dennis Schroeder because they got enough guards, but they could get like a nice backup big man, or they could get another forward. For example, if they could get Kevin Love to come join them, the Suns will be right back into the finals. They could be able to compete again. I'm not gonna make no let's just say they have a chance to get back to the finals. I don't want to make no assumptions now. And on top of that, you feel they got to trade for Steph Curry gonna leave, right? You've been hearing Damian Lillard. They're not gonna get Lillard at all. I told you that already. Damian Lillard is not coming over there. The Portland Trailblazers are gonna keep Damian Lillard because he's all they got. But McCullough, I told you the players the Blazers that might trade anyway. And plus they got Chauncey Billups. Lillard ain't going nowhere. They're definitely not gonna get Luka Doncic neither because Mark Cuban's not gonna allow that. Mark Cuban already took an L with Rick Carlisle leaving. Rick Carlisle is now the coach of the Indiana Pacers. And knowing Doncic, if Doncic gonna go anywhere, he might go to Indiana with Rick Carlisle. Mark Cuban's not gonna allow that to happen. But Giannis, I don't see none of these analysts wanting none of these players to come join Giannis at all. And it's sad. This man just proved that he can win a championship with the roster he's had. And Budenholzer is a San Antonio guy anyway. So watching Giannis is like watching Tim Duncan. So I give this man all the credit and all the respect. This dude earned that championship like everybody else on that team. Shouts out to Coach Bud. He finally did it. Being a head coach. And not as an assistant. But y'all, man, that's the video, man. I just want to give them a quick shout out. And to you 2K players, I got a video coming up for my team. Because I heard DBG complaining, who I follow. I got a video coming for that. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. As always, I'm going to see you soon.